guys, welcome back to the channel again. Thank you for joining me. This is a very impromptu video that I did not plan to do, but I decided to do it because it's based on something that is really empowering, influential, positive, a topic and a person that should be celebrated, basically. Yeah. It's actually based on a book that I actually came across myself when I was at work. For anyone who don't know, I work in education, I work in schools, and it is a book that I once read to one of my pupils, and I actually didn't realise that it was based on a true person and a true story. And I came across it again today because I was looking for something to read to my children, or yeah, and I actually realised that this person is still alive today, thank God. I think so anyway, due to my research. But yeah, just trigger warning. When I say trigger warning, it's more of a pre-warning. If I get any of these names wrong, I really do apologise. I am not fluent in Gambian language, if that's even a thing. Gambian tongue, or Gambia word of mouth, anyway. So I don't mean to offend anybody with how I pronounce some words or names, so just wanted to put that out there. I'm just saying it as I would assume for myself that it was said, if that, anyway, yeah. So first of all, so the person I'm going to talk about is someone called Isatou Ceesay, which I'll write here for you. I'm not sure if it's that right way of saying it. It might be Isatou Ceesay, or I'm not sure, but I'm gonna, for now, just for me, I'm gonna say Isatou Ceesay. So if it's said differently, then yeah, sorry. So she is an activist who was born in 1972 in Gambia. She is now, like I said, an activist and a social entrepreneur, self-made social entrepreneur. She has been nicknamed the Queen of Recycling, if that sounds even more familiar to you. She is the founder of the One Plastic Bag movement in Gambia, which again is also a book, which I'll try to put here for you if I can. Just to make it even more special, I will save a little treat for you at the end of this video, so stay tuned for that. She's an amazing woman, an advocate who has educated many women in Gambia. She's an amazing woman who in Gambia has educated and trained women in how to recycle plastic bags or waste and make them into usable products that can help women sell to turn into an income. As I've mentioned, Isatou's life story basically has been projected into a real life story children's book, which again, I mentioned that earlier when I said I've read it or seen it with my pupils. Now, a bit of background on Isatou. She lived on a farm in Gambia, in a small and underdeveloped village called Nayau, or Naju. I'll put it here as well, so again, sorry if I said that. Isatou somehow had to survive an underdeveloped third world country with poverty, lack of food, and her dad had died at when she was such a young age, so she had to help out with her family, her mother basically. And due to cultural limitations back then, she wasn't really, as a woman, meant to go out and work. She was supposed to be the home provider and look after stuff and help mum out basically. However, sadly, due to her mother not earning enough, because obviously they were struggling, and not enough income coming in due to her dad passing away, Isatou was forced to leave school and didn't finish her education. Instead, she managed to get a job selling toys using scraps of clothing or furniture, which would actually eventually make her popular in her village. Thankfully, with the money that she earned from this making of toys, she managed to pay for her own way in education in Gambia, learning technical institute things, if that makes sense. So she paid her way into her own education, educating herself in technical institutes. Not sure if that makes sense the second time, but yeah. After gaining this knowledge from the institutes and educating herself, she was able to get a job as a secretary, and she joined the USP Corps. Her aim from this was to gain skills that she could use back home to and her community. Now this is the part where it starts to go into the whole plastic bag movement. So, as I mentioned before, she lived in Naju in Gambia, and over time she became acutely aware of the amount of rubbish that was around her and waste. People were not really that educated in her village on how to get rid of waste and recycle things. So you would have rubbish in the streets, you would have people who would use plastic bags and reuse them and reuse them until they broke, and then they would just leave them in the street basically. Yeah, they just didn't know any better. If you don't have education, you don't know. So yeah. Sadly this would lead to obviously waste accumulating bacteria, the start of malaria, you know, mosquitoes, waste in itself causing bacteria. And basically around playgrounds and areas around her village, you know, it would just be dirty and toxic basically. Even the animals that lived in the farm area where the rubbish was started eating the infected wasteland and would sadly die because they were infected food. At one point the village would actually burn the waste or rubbish just to use it for fuel, for warmth, obviously from fires, or to cook food. Thankfully, however, from all the education that Ceesay had basically paid for herself, she managed to basically reword this. Together with the skills that she had gained in the Peace Corps, and together with the support of 5 women in her group of friends, I guess, they managed to learn how to recycle old bags and weave them into purses. They would use these purses to sell in the community to gain more money. So basically how they did it, I'm going to try and put a video in for you, but
very beautiful sew. That is to show you how to turn plastic bag to a beautiful, colorful process. Then if you want to know that, you follow me. Then I will show you how to start. Where we normally start is from recycling the plastic bag and wash them. After washing them, dry them, and then put them into one strip to be able to process it. Then this is the steps. You have to make sure that you fold it like this, the edges, like this. And then you fold it like this. Make sure that all sides are level like this. Then when you do that, you have to cut the top all the way, place it here, then you cut the bottom like this. Then after that, you have to open it again to make sure that both sides are cut. Then from there you fold it again, all the way, like this. But this time around, you're going to you have a leftover, whereby you will be able to connect them together. Then from there, you make sure that this edge is level. If there is anything that is not part of what you fold, you cut it like this. Then when we are training people, we want them to use their finger to make sure that all these strips, they are the same. Like this, you cut it into small, like this, small pieces. Because we are expecting to have one straight thread to be able to show a beautiful pose or poses. Okay. After cutting it like this, you have to open it again. Like this. The first side, you will not go all the way. You will not go all the way. You just cut it like one side. Then the rest you have to cross one leg. Like this. Then the last one also you have to go, you are not going all the way. Then we have one hook. Then you have to roll it like this to be able to sew it. Then you have one hook to be able to sew. But what we do is we make sure that all this left over, we pack them into one basket until we have a lot of them, so that when we make something like sack ball, turtle, key holders, this is what we use to bunch inside to be able to have it done well. At the same time, we are trying to make sure that any piece of the plastic is well controlled. You have to make a long chain, like tied in like this for starting. And then you make your stitches. The stitches is depend on the purse that you want to do, that you want to make. Bottom holder or flower. bottle holder or flower, you can make one like this. You can make a lady's bag like this. This one also is a lady's bag but different style, and then you can make purses. We make different things, depend on whatever you want to make. You can make it out of this. Plastic bag, and then it will be really loved.
Basically, they would collect the bags or whatever waste. They would wash it, sterilize it, cut it up into little strands of material like yarn, and then they would sew it into purses. It's really cool actually when you think about it. So basically every 10 bags that they collected would make one purse. Thankfully, even though Isatou would go to the nearby village to sell these purses and a few people would laugh at her, they would mock her due to attitudes back then that she should be at home, you know, doing chores instead of trying to earn money, or basically being looked down upon for looking through rubbish and playing with rubbish basically. Yeah, thankfully, even though she did all this and she was mocked, it took one person to start a trend off that would buy these purses, and then one after another people would start buying, and the first batch of purses that she made sold in one day. So this meant that the money that these women had earned from going to the nearby city to sell the purses could use this money to help their families and feed them and, you know, provide for them. With this success, Isatou and her 5 group of women would continue doing this work, and eventually they would be putting it back into the community, which meant more bags would be cleaned up, hence the community would be cleaned up, more money was being made from the purses being sold, so more families were able to manage each other, you know, manage their income, manage their food and everything was working in a positive way. There was a good recycling cycle going. This brought the birth of the Niao Recycling Centre, or the Nijao Recycling Centre, as it's more commonly known as in Gambia, the Niao Recycling and Income Generation Group, NRIGG, which I'll put here for you. Isatou would then move further with the progress and start educating the women on how to manage their wealth and their income so that they would know how to balance things in life basically, so they wouldn't go back to the start and be poor.
I started when I was very young, and the reason why I started this organization is because I learned it from my mother. My father died when I was very young, and my mother is definitely working so hard, selling vegetables to be able to help me to go to school. And the time that I finished my secondary school, I want to go to high school. I explained to my mother that I want to go to high school, and she told me that she don't have money to send me to high school. And that is the very day I take the world as my classroom to learn from different people, you know, put them together, and then set up myself, you know, feel like I want to support women in general. And that is the time I set up this corporation and use the environment as my illustrator to make sure that women, they come together and we discuss about women affairs, because women, they are vulnerable, but they are very committed in development. So coming together as women, we can make a big difference. So I started this organization with 5 women, but today we are serving more than thousands of women and kids. So we do environmental program, use their creativity to sell it, to be able to have money and see how they can put that money to make their life grow. They will be able to keep something for tomorrow.
She would even help them open bank accounts to manage. Eventually she would open another centre, Niao, would connect women together and help them work on their professional skills and life skills. That centre still continues on to this day actually, which I'll try to put a video in for you as well.
I started with 5, but today I'm working with more than 11,000 people across the country. Where I live, I see how people deal with waste, and I see how people deal with plastic, which is not environmental friendly, and at the same time is not good for their health.
It's smell and the bad odor that come here. But even though we manage and come here and fix the plastic, we go and wash it and turn it to toilet.
They do beadwork, they do recycling, they do tie-dye. If you come here around January, you'll find them doing tie-dye. And each and every one of them, they have their small box that they save their profits. When they make deposits, and deposit is $15 in Gambian, then the woman will have $13 and they will take $2 and then save it as a community development.
ñun ñu kontaan ci parce que set setal dafa baax si dëkkin bi ne man laay dëkk si tilim nga xam wér gi yaram si tilim dangay mën a set nga xam wér gi yaram moo tax projet bi maa la suñ see wax duñ see xam yëpp.
We work with women, elderly, we work with mid-ages, and we work with small ones. And the reason why we are doing that, we want the small one to learn about what we are doing. Because every single day is -1 from our lives. And then at the end of the day, when we are not around, those small ones, they will just inherit it and it will go. But if we don't include them, when we are not around, they will go back and start fresh.
So they've further improved the recycling process, or what they use for recycling now. They even use things like, obviously, rubbish bags. They use compost, different types of waste, and make things like beads, furniture, purses, chairs and stools, and further on. And Isatou Ceesay now actually has made such a massive impact that she now sells to US companies. I think you can also find her purses on Amazon as well, which I'll try and find here. If I can find it, it'll be here for you, a little picture. The whole movement has now been recognised as an official community-based organisation in Gambia, now known as the Niau Recycling and Income Generation Group 2, or NRIGG. So back then, Ceesay only started with 5 people, or 5 women in a group to do all this work for her, or with her. And up to now, more than 11,000 women now have a part in this organisation, in this movement. They are working, they're providing for their families, they're educating, they're connecting women. And the movement is in now 4 different cities in Gambia. And thanks to all the work, the hard work that Isatou basically took on, and even all the mocking and the gossips, she was basically able to be the last one laughing, because she won the 2012 International Women's Award, International Alliance for Women Difference Maker Award in Washington DC. I put a few clips in of her little mini interviews or whichever.
Any life this was safe. So beautiful. That's what motivated me every day to work with the women, because they are so talented and they are so committed. The idea of recycling came to me when I was very young, and I look at the environment where I live in my community, and I see that people, they don't have ideas of taking care of their waste, and I feel like it should be my contribution. The challenges that I was really facing that time was people, they were really not aware of what I was talking about, because it was very new for them, and they were thinking that the idea is not very important. I was alone with the project, but today I'm working with more than 11,000 people. What important is your determination and where you focus. You have your goal and then work towards that.
As you can see, she's, someone who has taken a negative situation and tried to improve things, but she's not stopped, and that's what is inspirational about her as well. Even though people were laughing at her, she was like, she wasn't stopping her dream. And one of the main things that really stands out for me is that it wasn't just for her, it wasn't just something that she wanted to be rich. She was really showing that she wanted to help other people from the start. She could have done all the work herself, but she really had these other people helping her, and she educated other people. She didn't stop there. She opened these community places. She opened these educational places. You know, she wasn't. I'm not saying it's bad for people to be like having their own business and then just going off and being on their own and enjoying their wealth, basically. But I just like that she really saw that her community needed help, and in a third world country where things were not that great and not really supported, she's really cleaned up her community in more than one ways, and she's helping women around her community in Gambia. And it's really nice, because she even says in one of her interviews that, you know, it's okay cleaning everything up, but they're educating girls so that when they pass away or when they finish their work, the next generation will continue, because it's no good if they don't educate them, because it'll just start from scratch again and everything will be crazy again, which is really good. It's really good influence. So yeah, and she just did all this off her own back, off her own head. So yeah, I think she's worth celebrating. So yeah, I do hope you enjoyed this little inspirational video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe as always, because I like doing these little videos as well. Comment down below if you've ever heard of her or seen her book. And as a little treat, I am going to finish this video with the storybook itself. So if you have any children, you could probably sit with them right now and have a little bedtime story or whatever, or a midday story. I'll have a little midday story. But yeah, either way, again, I hope you enjoyed it, and until next time, goodbye, God bless. Enjoy the book. One plastic bag, Isatou Ceesay and the Recycling Women of Gambia. Niao, Gambia. Isatou walked with her chin frozen. Fat raindrops pelt her bare arms. Her face hides in the shadow of a palm leaf basket, and her neck stings with every step. Warm scents of burning wood and bubbling peanut stew drift past. Her village is close now. She lifts her nose to catch the smell. The basket tips, one fruit tumbles, then 2, then 10, and the basket breaks. Isatou kicks the dirt. Something silky dances past her eyes, softening her anger. It moves like a flag, flapping in the wind, and settles under a tamarind tree. Isatou slides the strange fabric through her fingers and discovers it can carry things inside. She gathers her fruits in the bag. The basket is useless now. She drops it, knowing it will crumble and mix back in with the dirt. 4 goats greet Isatou as Grandmother Mombe emerges from her kitchen hut. Hurry in before the rain soaks your beautiful mumba. Isatou scurries in, and her grandmother serves spicy rice and fish. Rain drums on the creaking aluminium roof. I broke your basket, Isatou confesses, but I found this. Plastic? Grandmother frowns. There's more in the city. Day after day, Isatou watches neighbours tote their things in bright blue or black plastic bags. Children serve water and wanjo from tiny holes poked in clear bags. Market trays filled with minties wrapped in rainbows of plastic. The colours are beautiful, she thinks. She swings her bag high. The handle breaks. 1 paper escapes, then 2, then 10. Isatou shakes sand off her papers. Another plastic bag floats by, and she tucks things inside. The torn bag is useless now. She drops it to the dirt, as everyone does. There's nowhere else to put it. Day after day, the bag she dropped is still there. 1 plastic bag becomes 2, then 10, then 100. Plastic isn't beautiful anymore, she thinks. Her feet step down a cleaner path, and the thought floats away. Years pass, and Isatou grows into a woman. She barely notices the ugliness growing around her, until the ugliness finds its way to her. Isatou hears a goat crying and hurries towards Grandmother's house. Why is it tied up? Where are the other goats? Inside, the butcher is speaking in a low voice. Many goats have been eating these, he says. The bags twist around their insides and the animals cannot survive. Now 3 of your goats and so many other goats in the village have died. Grandmother Mombe's powerful shoulders sag. Isatou must be strong and do something. But what? Isatou's feet lead her to the old, ugly road. A pile of garbage stands as wide as Grandmother's cooking hut. Mosquitoes swarm near dirty pools of water alongside the pile. Smoke from burning plastic stings her nose. Her feet back away. Goats scamper past. They forage through the trash for food. Her feet stop. She knows too much to ignore it now. Holding her breath, she picks one plastic bag from the pile. Then 2, then 10, then 100. What can we do? Isatou asks her friends. Let's wash them, says Fatim, pulling out almost soap. Maram grabs a bucket and Insha fetches water from the well. Peggy finds clothespins and they clip the wash bags on the line. As the bags dry, Isatou watches her sister crochet. Can you teach me? Wow, yes. Her sister shows Isatou the stitches, then hands her a metal tool. Isatou's fingers busy themselves. In, out, around. Chef, thank you. Isatou finds a broomstick and carves her own tool from its wood. What's that for? Fatim asks. Isatou pauses. She and Peggy have an idea, but will their friends think it's crazy? Will the idea even work? Nervously, she explains the plan. One friend agrees to help, then 2, then 5. The women cut bags into strips and roll them into spools of plastic thread. Before long, they teach themselves how to crochet with this thread. Nakalijibi, asks Grandmother. How is the work? Ndanka, answers Isatou. Slow. Some people in the village laugh at us, others call us dirty, but I believe what we are doing is good. The women crochet by candlelight, away from those who mock them. Until a morning comes when they will no longer work in secret. Fingers sore and blistered, Isatou hauls the recycled purses to the city. One person laughs at her, then 2, then 10. Then one woman lays the lassie coins on the table. She chooses a purse and shows it to one friend. Then 2, then 10. Soon everyone wants one. Isatou fills her own purse with the lassie. She zips it shut and rides home to tell Grandmother she has made enough money to buy a new goat. When she passes by the pile of rubbish, she smiles because it is smaller now. She tells herself one day it will be gone and my home will be beautiful. And one day it was. Thank you for listening, enjoy and God bless.